Hello, and welcome to Module 3, Filming. You've got your script, you've done your storyboards, and you're ready to start shooting. But before you shout action, here are some tips to help you get better footage. Be prepared. Is your phone or camera fully charged? Do you have all the equipment, props and costume you need? Do you have your storyboards with you? Does everyone have a copy of the script? Good planning is important to making the most of your time. Let the action play out. Give yourself a few seconds of recording at the start of each shot before the action begins, and at the end once the action is finished. This gives you more flexibility during the editing process and allows you to control the pace of your finished film. Hold it steady. Even if your camera or phone has image stabilization, your shots will benefit from a steady hand. So if the camera doesn't need to move during the shot, rest it on something. A tripod is great if you have one, but anything will do. If you're holding the camera, use both hands and use a wall or table for support if you can. Unless, of course, you're going for that shaky handheld look. Be responsible. The safety of your cast and crew, including you, is very important. Never ask someone to do anything they're not comfortable doing, and don't take any unnecessary risks either. Also, if you're planning to shoot all day, schedule regular refreshment breaks and a decent lunch. Look after your people, and they'll be much more willing to go that extra mile when you need them to. Blocking and framing. If you're filming people, blocking is the process of working out where your actors and camera will be during the shot. Ask your actors to walk through the action and think about where the camera needs to be to get the shots in your storyboards. Do you need to be close to the action or further back? Low down or high up? Remember, your storyboards are only a guide. Once you start filming, you may find that a shot you thought would be great just doesn't work. As long as you get the shots you need in order to tell the story, allow yourself to experiment and see if you can come up with something even better. Do you want the camera to move during the shot? If so, what kind of movement do you want? Let's look at some possibilities. Pan. Here the camera moves sideways, left or right. The pan can be used to show more of a location, to follow a moving object, or to reveal something. An actor's reaction, for example. A tripod makes panning easy, but isn't essential. Tilt. Pointing the camera up or down instead of left or right is called a tilt. Like panning, it's best done with a tripod, but can also be done easily enough handheld. Track. Tracking shots are when the camera moves. On a professional shoot, it's literally on tracks. The simplest way to do this is just to walk while holding the camera. It's worth practicing this to get the smoothest motion you can. Walking with bent knees really helps to get rid of the up and down movement. If you're lucky enough to have a gimbal, it's much easier to get super smooth shots, but it still takes practice. Crane. A crane shot is like a tracking shot, except you're moving vertically. You can achieve it by simply standing up or bending down, but again, a bit of practice will really pay off. Most of the time, you'll be working with whatever light there is where you're filming. This is called available light. Most of the time, this will be daylight, and most of the time, it'll be all you need. Phone cameras are very good at sensing and adapting to lighting conditions. If you find yourself needing extra light, maybe you're filming a night scene or you're in a dark room, then a phone torch makes a perfectly good light source. Pointing it directly at your subject can give harsh, unflattering shadows, which is great if you're making a horror film. But if you want more even lighting, try bouncing the light off a wall or ceiling, or even a piece of white card. You can also use a table lamp, candles, car headlights, whatever you have that will create the mood you're after. Think about how lighting will affect the mood of your scene. If it's a happy scene, maybe wait for a sunny day. If your character is mysterious, maybe keep their face in shadow. Watch some films and notice how they use light and shadow to help tell the story. As a filmmaker, light is a powerful tool in your storytelling toolkit. Good sound is very important in filmmaking, and it's one of the hardest things for the novice filmmaker to get right. If you have dialogue in your film, it's vital that the audience can hear and understand what your characters are saying. If you're shooting with a phone, this will mean being close enough to your actors to record them clearly. Indoors, this shouldn't be too much of a problem. But if you're outside in a noisy environment, such as a busy street, or if it's very windy, getting good sound can be tricky. One thing you can do is use an external mic, such as a lavalier mic, which clips onto your actor's clothing. It'll pick up much more of their voice and much less ambient sound. You can get one for about £10, and if you're a phone shooter, it's probably the first thing you should get to improve the quality of your films. When shooting on location, it's a good idea to record a couple of minutes of ambient sound, just the general sound of the environment, in case you need to patch up your audio in the edit. Press record, put your phone down and sit quietly for 2 minutes. It might be your only chance all day to officially do nothing. Continuity. Remember to take note of the details. Which hand is your actor holding their drink with? Is the glass full or half empty? And does your actor take a drink after the second line of dialogue or the third? Anything that needs to be the same from shot to shot, make a note of it. Otherwise, the edit can turn into a nightmare. You'll be stuck with shots you can't use, and your actors won't thank you for having to come back and reshoot. B-roll. B-roll is shots that aren't in the storyboards but might come in useful in the edit. For example, you film 2 takes of your actor speaking their lines whilst nervously fiddling with a pen. Shoot a quick close-up of their hand with the pen. That way, if you want to use the first half of one take and the second half of another, you can cut to the close-up. B-roll can really save your life in edit, so do keep it in mind. We've been using phone shooting as an example because most of us have or can borrow a phone that shoots decent video. But all the points we've covered are relevant whatever you're shooting on. So if all you have is a phone, don't let it slow you down. Just ask film director Steven Soderbergh, who shot his feature films High Flying Bird and Unsane on an iPhone.